Hello, my name is Martha, and I'd like to welcome you to another of our Trees of the Key Awareness Week interviews. So I'm super excited to be interviewing this person today because they are someone that's been such an inspiration to me for so many years. I remember first seeing her speak at a climate strike in Exeter and just thinking how amazing it was to see someone of a similar age to me who went to my school speaking to such a huge crowd with such like an impact and having such a influence over all these young people. And so I'm so excited to welcome Charlotte today, who is a young climate activist. So thank you so much for joining us, Charlotte.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Can I begin by asking you how you became a part of the environmental movement?
Yeah, so I grew up in a family that really valued the outdoors. Both of my parents are like qualified ecologists. So I spent all my time outside as a child. So I definitely came to it through like a biodiversity and rewilding point of view. So like one of my earliest memories is my mum saying, "Oh, don't like play in the feeder streams at the beach because they got E. coli in them, and like don't step in the river and stuff like that." But there was a lot of it was very like relaxed, very outdoorsy in my childhood. And as I like grew up and sort of went sort of from the outdoors and into the town as I like became a teenager, I sort of noticed the differences, and how when I went back to like the rural areas, I noticed how they changed, and it was that change that brought me towards the movement.
Perfect. So how do you feel when you step into nature and connect with nature and the trees around us?
Just calm, I think, is the main one. I can like the way that I always wind down is like by a walk in the woods. I absolutely love it. I always feel like renewed and refreshed, but also I think like my focus is a lot more like defined. I always think, oh, I can hear the bird song, or I can hear like some little like mice in the undergrowth and things like that. Is everything's a lot slower in outdoors and in the woods. It's really nice. Yeah, you just focus on the color of the plants and sort of like the running water or bird song or like even seasonal changes is really nice.
Great. So in recent years, we've definitely seen an increase in eco anxiety surrounding the climate crisis. So I'm just wondering like how you feel when you hear about global warming and whether you think there's hope for the future.
Yeah, so I think bottom line is anxious, overwhelmed, especially in terms of thinking about the future. So like when I'm thinking of applying to university, the places that I applied to had to have good air quality because I'm asthmatic. I really can't cope with pollution. And so even the fact that I have to consider that now is a really big thing. But I'm thinking about my future. I'm thinking about like where I'm going to be able to get a job, and it's the fact that it impacts people now, but it's going to impact like people in our part of the world sooner. Um, and yes, I do think there is hope because the solutions are really easy. They are so simple. It's just about doing them. And the main issue is that you can't make any money out of them. And that's why they're not in place at the moment, systematically. And so it's things like trees, solar, wind, renewable energy, and carbon capture through things like seagrass, and moss lawns and things like that. But yeah, I reckon there is hope. We just have to move away from a culture where we only focus on things to make money out of them, and move towards a culture that's like beneficial towards our future.
So you mentioned how easy it is to make these changes towards a greener planet. Do you, on an individual level, I know that there's obviously such a responsibility on larger businesses, organizations to do their bit for the planet, but on an individual level, are there things that you would recommend or things that you do that you found particularly like effective?
Yeah, so I one of the big things that I would say is so easy and it will save you money and time is buying secondhand. So everything that you can get, buy it secondhand. Because I mean, someone's already bought it, someone's done the hard work for you. All you have to do is just get it off them. So like things like Facebook Marketplace and Depop, Vinted, things like that are just they're brilliant. Because not only are you like not supporting fast fashion, but you'd quite often the time you get a better quality product which will last you for longer, and you save a bit of money as well. The other main thing I would say about is banking and diet. So moving your bank provider, so who holds your money and how they use your money, is really important. So moving to people like Co-op or Triodos, like ethical banking, because then you won't be funding and subsidizing like fossil fuels. And the last one is diet. So reducing your meat content, particularly beef, is really, really important. I feel like it's a bit of a stuck record, but it really is important. And go palm oil free. So palm oil free there's palm oil in everything, and it's like the biggest causer of deforestation of the rainforest, and it is so important because it's really, really like easy to do. You have I mean, I'd say get some glasses so you can read the back of the ingredients all the time, but it is a lot easier, and you will find that you are eating better as a result of it.
Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely a big believer in secondhand and eating in a more plant-based way. And the banking one there is something which I hadn't considered, so I think that'll be really interesting. But and also, how do you feel that people from your demographic, so really students and young people in general, can be most effective in spreading the message about connecting with nature and just working towards a greener world in every sense of the term?
Yeah, so I reckon that students and young people have a massive influence, because we've had an issue previously where people don't tend to listen to us as much, as we're like kind of sort of like dismissed as like, oh, they're like children. But I think in terms of students, as in students who go to school, is a real thing, because if you can get like teachers in your school community on side, then they will start teaching like what they think about the climate to students. And then it's that like climate needs to be taught. It's not a subsection of PSHE, it is its own subject, and it is really, really important. And I think the role that students have to play in influencing their own school communities is so important, and it can make such big change. Like, for example, at our school, I run the rewilding initiative at school, and that is brilliant because we had like over 300 students come and like plant up this area to help make it more rewilded and better for pollinators. And I think that there is a massive thing for getting the community involved, but also influencing the future in terms of what it's going to be taught. Great.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. And thank you for just taking the time to share your thoughts. It's very valuable.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing more from you in future.
Thank you.